So welcome back. Now today is 26th of October 2021, and today we are focusing on reading skills. But before we go to reading skills, I would want to go back to last week's session, which was a CAT session. And to say the truth, you did the CAT, and it was not impressive. It was not impressive completely. That is what is known as online CAT. And when you're given a whole hour to do an online CAT, maximize on that time. The lecturer is not stupid. Allow me to use the word stupid. When he gives you a whole hour to do the CAT, I would as well have given you, or I would as well given you maybe 20 minutes, because there are only 15 questions. So I can give every question 1 mark, 1 minute. So 15 minutes is enough. But some of us, you are doing the exam or that particular CAT in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, and you've been given a whole hour. Then you go back to the group to complain how the CAT was. Very tricky, confusing even those others who are doing. Now, when you're given 1 hour, take your time. Read the question clearly and take your time. Clearly and take your time. Look at the answers, all of them. Then select the right answer. Don't select the answers because you have fallen in love with it. Tumesema ukitupigia kelele tunakutoa nje. Tunakutoa nje. Yes, like that. So that is it. When you're given an assignment or a CAT, especially an online CAT, and you've been given 1 hour, take your time, do the CAT. Read the question, read it again and again, look at the answers. Select the right one. But if you're doing it for 10 minutes, especially those who did it for less time, there is also somebody who got 0. Na alifanya na dakika 5, alipata 0. Mwingine alipata 11, 12. Una ukiangalia ile time alichukua like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Now that is what I'm talking about. So next time when you're given an assignment, take your time. At least you have learned from that. So there is also assignment 2, which I'm going to open it today. That assignment will take a whole week and it will close next week, a day like today, at 5. So kuna assignment ya pili, assignment 2. Kuna assignment ya pili, which is assignment 2, and it is going to take 1 week. So by next week, a day like today at 5, that assignment will close down. So you have time. So do good work. Don't copy one another. There are people who copied one another, the previous assignment 1, and I gave you 0. And I'm even referencing, I will even reference the person that you copied. So if it is Modoni who copied Mombi, I'll tell you, Mombi, you copied Modoni. And so I give you a 0. All of you. Hapo hakuna yule alikopi mwingine na mwenye. Nyinyi wote ni wezi wa masomo. You are all academic thieves. So I'll give you 0. So don't copy some people. Stop copying someone's work, because the moment I open your assignment, inanionyesha vile umefanya, I can read and I can award you marks on the other side. So refrain from copying some people's work. Refrain from copy pasting from the internet. By the time you are done with universities, utakuwa mwizi wa magari. Ulianza kuibia kutoka kwa internet. Unaibia kazi kutoka kwa internet, kazi za wengine, una copy paste. By the time unamaliza university, si utakuwa mwizi wa magari, mwizi sugu. Ama ni mwizi maarufu, mwizi sugu. So let's refrain from that. And things are going to be okay. So allow me to share my screen so that we can start our lesson. Allow me to share my screen so that we can start our lesson. So today's lesson, we are going to focus on, I hope you can see my screen. You can see my screen. We are going to look at reading skills. We're going to look at reading skills. And when you're talking about reading skills, we are going to look at types of reading skills. Reading skills, then we are going to look at types of reading skills. But before we look under types of reading skills, let's look at preparing for reading. Preparing for reading. Preparing for reading. So when you're doing preparation for reading, we do 3 types of preparation. That is psychological preparation, emotional preparation, and physiological preparation. And when you talk about psychological preparation, here you are told that you need to get rid of anything that can hinder your understanding. That is conflicting ideas or emotional preparation. You need to get rid of anything that hinders your understanding. This one you're talking about psychologically. For example, maybe, God forbid, maybe you lost your loved one or your partner, maybe last week, and today you are in class. And you cannot concentrate because you are emotionally affected. Or maybe you had some fight with your friend before you joined the class. It can be a verbal fight, it can be a physical fight. Verbal fight, or maybe you are just like what you are doing, some of us, or some people decided to throw tantrums to one another. Unarushia huyu maneno na huyu pia nakurushia maneno kwa WhatsApp. Maybe you had such an experience and you are thinking throughout the class. You cannot concentrate on what I'm saying. That one is psychological barrier. Psychological barrier. And so we should get rid of such things. Get rid of anything that hinders your understanding. Remember, when you talk about understanding, it means internalizing the message. There is something that hinders you from internalizing the message. Then we also have, there is also what we call overexcitement. There is what we call overexcitement. Anger. You are very angry. Before I started this class, I started by saying some things of how the group should be managed or how you should behave yourself in the group. And maybe some of you were very angry. Wakasema hata hiyo class hatusomi, wakatoka. Actually, umefanya vizuri sana kutoka kwa hiyo darasa kwa sababu hautaelewa chochote. Ukiwa umekuwa na anga kwa sababu umesomewa, umeambiwa kitu fulani ambacho hakijakupendeza na kwa sababu makosa ni yako, ni vizuri sana ujitoe kwa hiyo darasa kwa sababu the whole class hautaelewa anything. There is also what we call remorsefulness and also stress. Some people are stressed, maybe because of school fees, maybe because you don't know what you're going to eat at night. You are stressed, umefungiwa nyumba, haujui mahali utatoa rent, na uko hapa tunasoma. That one can hinder you from understanding. So the best thing that you can do to yourself is to leave that particular group. So in other words, we are saying that you need to prepare yourself to read. Now we are not talking about listening, we are talking about reading. You need to do what? To prepare yourself to read. Prepare yourself psychologically. Or you put your stress under control. Let your stress be something that can be controlled. Like for example, you realize that emotion should be at equilibrium to maintain sobriety. So in other words, you're talking about that you should be able to maintain your emotion so that you are sober throughout the class, throughout the library, to maintain sobriety, yeah? So that you are able to be sober throughout the class. Then we also have physiological preparation. And physiological preparation, we are saying, when you go to the library to read, be well fed. Kula chakula vizuri. Kukula chakula vizuri si kumaanisha you eat until you feel your stomach is paining on one side, the other side. You cannot lie on this side, or neither can you lie on the other side. No, feed well when you're going to the library. Kula vizuri. Kukula vizuri si kukula kupita kiasi. Tumbo inauma upande huu mwingine, hauwezi simama, huwezi kaa, huwezi, you cannot walk because of how you have, or the food that you took. You took excess food, or you ate excessively. So you're told to feed well, and therefore you're told that comfort should be a priority. Sit where you are comfortable. Sit where you are comfortable. And sitting where you are comfortable is not on your bed. Bed is not a comfort place, a comfortable place to read. Nimesikia mtu amesema, mimi ninaenda kusomea kwa bedroom. Si utafanya homework? Something like that. Tumesikia kwa sababu hauko umeweka microphone off. So hatuko na lingine ila kusikia your conversation with your kid, or maybe your sibling. It can be something of the sort. So wewe ambao umeenda bedroom kusomea mahali pale, just know that bedroom is not a comfortable place to read, especially on bed. Unasoma kama umeshika kitabu hivi. Before you notice, kitabu inakuwa ndio blanketi. When you wake up in the morning, unapata ulingorota hata ujui ulisoma nini. So seek for a place where you are comfortable, which should be your priority. Make sure that there is space aeration. Ensure that there is enough air. Ensure that there is enough lighting. The surrounding, there is free from unnecessary interruption. Sometimes we usually have what we call study rooms. But study rooms za wengine ukiingia, hata huwezi kaa dakika 5. Unapata ya kwamba pale kuna magunia ya mahindi na maharagwe. Pale kwa kona ndio umeweka meza yako ya kusomea. Nyumba imefungwa, hakuna enough light, ni ile dim light. Mapanya yanatembea kila mahali. Mara mwingine ameingia kwa bedroom, kwa hiyo room, anakuambia inua miguu kidogo nitoe hii gunia, inua miguu kidogo nitoe gunia. Something of the sort. Unakuwa disrupted every now and then, unakohoa, una sneeze. That's not a place to read. It's not a conducive place for you to read. Then you're also told in physiological preparation, know your topic. Today I'm going to read communication skills, and I'm only going to look at verbal communication. Know your topic. Then after knowing your topic, you're told that you're supposed to gather all the necessary information about the topic. Go to the library. Collect anything that talks about verbal or non-verbal communication, or that does what we call go hand in hand with your topic. So gather all the necessary information about that particular topic. So we've looked at psychological preparation and physiological preparation. We also have emotional preparation. Emotional preparation is here. I think we combined it with physiological preparation. And here we are saying in emotional preparation, don't be overexcited. And as far as anger is concerned, control your anger. Also, we've talked about stress. Put your stress in a way that you can be able to manage it. Or you can be able to put it under control and ensure that you are sober. Some people go to the library even when they are drunk. Mtu ananuka chang'aa. ama unanuka bangi, kwa sababu bangi pia inalewesha, ndio unaenda kwa library kusoma. So I'm wondering what you'll be reading. So therefore, we look at methods of reading. We look at methods of reading, and there are various methods of reading. We have 3 methods of reading. 3 methods of reading. Number 1, we have this method of reading, which is known as skimming. When you talk about skimming, skimming is a way of reading whereby the reader, it's a method of reading whereby the reader runs through a given written material. And in this run, when you're running through written material, you are looking for keywords and you are looking for key phrases or sentences or paragraph with an aim to come up with an overview of the content. It's a very fast way of reading. It's a way of reading such that you want to get a rough idea about the content. And there is a high probability of leaving out important information. So when you're talking about skimming, what you're talking about skimming, for example, when you Google something on the internet, maybe you're looking at home remedies of treating a flu. So your keyword, you're looking at home remedies of treating a flu. So you're only looking at remedies of treating a flu or something like that. That one you are skimming. You are doing what is called skimming. Or maybe, for example, you go to a dictionary and you're looking for a word. Maybe you're looking for a word, quagmire. The moment you go through the dictionary, you're only looking for the word quagmire. You are leaving any unnecessary information. That one is known as skimming. And skimming is very fast. You do it very fast. And you're being told that there is a high possibility of leaving important information. Then we also have what we call scanning. So scanning, again, is a way of reading text quickly or reading the entire document quickly for specific information, and you stop as soon as possible. As soon as you get the specific information, you stop. And you start now reading the information. I don't know that I'm saying something or I'm confusing someone. Tumeelewa mpaka hapo? Or we look for more examples? We have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
I've not understood clearly.
Now let me start this. We are saying this. We have 2 methods of reading, the ones that you read very fast. This one is skimming and scanning. So these are reading techniques that we use rapid eye movement. So we use rapid eye movement when we are skimming and when we are scanning. Eye movement through the text for slightly different purposes. For example, in skimming is reading rapidly in order to get the general overview of the material. So when you are skimming, you are reading rapidly so that you can get a general overview of the material. I'll give an example. For example, when you go to the library, or let me just continue and say, is when you in order to get the general overview of the material. Scanning, on the other hand, is reading rapidly in order to find specific facts. Scanning, on the other hand, is reading rapidly in order to find specific facts. So while skimming, while you are doing what we call skimming, so no, in other words, yes, when you are doing, let's talk about scanning. Scanning helps you locate a particular fact. Scanning helps you to locate a particular fact. While skimming, it helps you to do what? To get an overview of the material that needs to be read. For example, we use skimming in reading, in previewing. When you go to the library, for example, you use skimming to review a particular book, whether it is necessary for reading or not. We use skimming in determining the main idea from a long section or from a huge paragraph. So we use skimming to determine the main idea. Like when you go to the library and you want a book, communication skills book, and you are given 5 books, the only thing that you will use is to do what we call skimming, to find out whether it is the right book or to select the book that you want. So you go through the text very fast to find out whether this is the book that you want or not. While when you talk about scanning, you are looking for specific facts, particular facts. Maybe you are looking at ways of reducing stress. So you are looking specifically for ways of reducing stress. So that is scanning. But skimming, you are doing an overview. Scanning, you are looking for particular facts within a text. For example, you're being told, we can actually say that skimming, it is used when you want to save hours reading. When you want to save hours in reading, you use skimming. However, it is not the most, it is not always the most appropriate way of reading, but it is very useful as a preview to a more detailed reading. So we use skimming to do what? To overview your textbook chapters, maybe for example, to decide if you need to read something at all, and so on and so forth. For example, when you read what we call the table of content, you have gone to the library, you've been given a book, and you're going through the table of content. What you are doing is you are skimming. Like, for example, when you read the entire introductory paragraph of a book, that is skimming. When you read the chapter summaries of a book, that is skimming. Scanning is when now you are looking for maybe something inside. You are looking for facts inside the text. Hope that one is understood. I hope we have understood that. Yule mwenye ameuliza swali.
Yeah.
Unless kuna mwingine ambaye hajaelewa swali, hajaelewa hiyo maneno ya skimming na scanning. Mwangilionu, microphone yako iko on. Itakurusha nje sasa hivi. Kuna mwingine ako na swali? Hakuna. Then another type of reading is what we call study reading. Study reading, And study reading specifically is what we do, all of us as students. This is what we do. And it falls under these processes. We usually call it 3 processes. We call them SQ3R. That is, you survey, you question, you review. After reviewing, No, yeah, you read, you recite, and you revise. You read, you recite, and you revise. So when you talk about study reading, it tries to diagnose the idea or subject to gain deeper understanding of the concept. So the recommended method of study reading is the SQ3R method. When you talk about SQ3R method, we are saying that we have an S, we have Q, and we have three R's. That is, R number 1 is read, R number 2 is recite, and R number 3 is revise. So the first thing you do when you get to the library, you need to do a survey. Survey, you need to ask yourself what aspects or what approach you're going to use to get the material that will help you read. Umeingia kwa library, unataka kitabu cha communication skills. You have to do survey of the books that you're going to read and even the topics that you're going to read. Then you need to question. So what am I reading about? If you are going to read about communication, what specifically are you going to read about in communication? Then after asking yourself question, then you continue and you read the book. Then you recite or you recall. Ask yourself what you have understood. Some of us, when we go to the library, we usually have what we call an exercise book aside or a rough book. That today you are reading about verbal communication. So you have already done what we call survey. And then after survey, you have questioned what you are going to read about. Maybe you're going to read about verbal communication. Then you read the material. Then you're going to recite or to recall. Then after reading the book, you're going to ask yourself, what have I learned? Maybe definition of non-verbal communication or verbal communication. What have I understood? What are some of the elements? What are some of the barriers to effective communication? And so on and so forth. So you are trying to recall what you have read on the book. Then you revise. Revising simply means you go through the text. How accurate were you in your understanding? Maybe you looked at some materials. Maybe you are looking at communication skills, and you're starting from what is communication. Then you read the definition of communication. You read the content. After finishing the content, then you ask yourself, of course, you have your rough book with you there. What have I learned? I've learned definition of communication. What have I learned? What is the definition? You define you write it down on that particular rough book. Then you ask yourself, what else have I done? What else have I learned? I've learned barriers to effective communication or elements of communication. You list them down. Then after doing all that, you now ask yourself, have I really understood? Then that way you'll be revising. You're asking yourself, how accurate were you in understanding? I think that is it. And that is all about what we call study reading. Remember, we have 3 methods of reading. We have skimming, we have scanning, and we have study reading. Any question before we move to something else? No question. Then let's go look at what we call barriers to effective reading. There are various barriers to effective reading. Number 1, we start with what we call emotional barriers. Emotional barriers, things that can make you or can hinder you from reading. And when you talk about emotional barriers, we have fear. And fear, under fear, we are talking about fear of criticism or judgment. You don't want to read because you're going to be criticized by your students or by your friends. For some students, this fear is so great that they would rather not try to succeed in reading than risk having to take the criticism. When you ask some people from other areas, we are all Kenyans. We've come from various places. There are people from Western, people from Eastern, people from Central, people from Nyanza, and so on and so forth. And we pronounce things differently. Some people may fear even to read because of how they pronounce words, because they fear being criticized. We also have fear of failure. You've been given a very hard term to read. You don't want to read because you fear you're going to fail how to pronounce something or how to articulate it. So some students would rather, students rather than being afraid, so we are saying that some students, rather than be afraid of criticism that comes with not succeeding, they are afraid of failure itself. If a student has repeatedly experienced failure in the past, they get the idea that they will always fail and therefore do not bother trying. So that is fear. Others fear being rejected. Beside the fear of criticism or the fear of failure, some students are more afraid of rejection by their peers. Ati wewe hujui kusoma, wewe usitufuate, wewe utakuwa rafiki wetu sababu haujui kusoma. We also have, under emotional barriers, we also have shame. Shame. Wengine wako na aibu, hawataki kusoma. Hata saa hii kuna watu wako na aibu. Ukiwaambia can you hear me, hawezi sema anakusikia. Na ako nyumbani amekaa. Some are very emotionally sensitive. Emotionally sensitive. Umesoma tu kitu fulani, paragraph fulani, unasikia watu wameanza kuclap. And then you are emotionally, you are asking yourself, are they clapping for me because I don't know how to read? Are they clapping for me because of how I'm pronouncing words? You are emotionally sensitive. Or when you hear somebody laughing, maybe he's laughing because he's excited that you have read the paragraph very well, but you're emotionally sensitive. And because of being emotionally sensitive, you find that you cannot read. Others adjusting to change is another thing. We also have motivational barriers. Apart from emotional barriers, we also have motivational barriers. Some people lack of goals. Just go to the library. Ni kama umesindikiza wengine, haujui unataka kusoma nini. Others is what we call procrastination. Even now, unasema mtihani imebakisha, mtihani yetu iko siku gani, iko week gani, hiyo siku ndio nitaanza kusoma. Ama nitasoma tu vitabu zangu. Wacha ni, okay, maybe for example you have planned today being on a Tuesday because I don't have classes. It's simply an example. I will read communication skills. Then, and I will start from 8 a.m. 8 a.m. inafika, as you are watching TV, a nice program comes, you say, I'll read at 10. I'll read at 10, another program comes, or something else happens, I'll read at 12. Una postpone hivyo, siku inaisha, unasema nitaamka usiku. Usiku inafika, usingizi unakuwa mtamu zaidi kuliko zile usingizi zingine. Unasema, hata kesho ni siku. Hivyo, wiki inaisha, siku zinaisha, alafu miezi inaisha, mara tu tunajipata kwenye mtihani. Haujasoma. Hiyo siku ya mtihani unasema nitaamka usiku. Utaamkaje usiku na haujakuwa hata hujaweza kuamka hizi siku zingine? Unangojea tu siku inafika, unasema nitaamka kesho asubuhi mapema nifike library ya Zitech University. Unaamka asubuhi, hiyo ndio siku kuna jam. Unafika saa zile mwalimu anapeana booklets za mtihani. In fact umechelewa, unafukuzwa. But kwa sababu ya huruma ya mwalimu anakuambia ingia fanya mtihani. Unashindwa utaanzia wapi, na hivyo ndivyo unaanguka. Procrastination, improperly arranged reading environment. Some of you, where you read, you find books everywhere, vitabu vya English, vya Kiswahili, vitabu za primary, improperly arranged reading environment. Kiti iko juu ya meza, kitanda improperly arranged completely. Or even reading materials. Unapata page 1, page 3 hakuna, page 5 hakuna, unaenda page 8 hakuna page zingine, some paragraphs are missing, and you are reading for the exam. Also, we have learning disabilities. There are people who have learning disabilities, and they relate to particular functions of the brain which control speech, reading and writing demands. Some people have got what we call Down syndromes, cerebral palsy. Wengine wako wana suffer blindness, some people cannot see, among others. Examples including the following. There are people who are suffering from dyslexia. When we talk about dyslexia, this is the person who has difficulties in understanding the written words. Others are suffering from dysgraphia. What is dysgraphia? Dysgraphia is when the person has difficulties forming letters when writing. Or dyscalculia. Dyscalculia. Dyscalculia is what? The person has difficulties understanding mathematics. Na sisemi mwende mkaitane majina huko kwa darasa. You are suffering from dyscalculia. No, the person has difficulties in understanding mathematics. Nyinyi young generation tunawajua. Umeshajua tu jina dyscalculia. Unaenda kuambia mtu you are suffering from dyscalculia kwa sababu ulipata hii hesabu primary. You are suffering from dyscalculia. No, that one, don't do that. Another barrier to effective reading is lack of time. Hauna wakati. Wewe ni mtu unafanya kazi, uko darasani, haukuangi na wakati wa kusoma. Ukishakula tu ugali tu na sukuma jioni, ile kitu unaona tu ni kitanda. Reluctance is another one. Lack of concentration. You are in the library, you are trying to read, you cannot concentrate. You cannot concentrate. You're only concentrating on the movements that are taking place around you. Environmental barriers. These include background noise, location. Mahali munakaa ni mahali ambapo ni kwa stage. Wengine wetu tunaishi karibu na stage. Zimmerman pale kwa base. Magari yana hoot asubuhi, jioni, mchana, siku nzima. Wengine wanaishi wapi? Kayole pale kwa stage. Nyamavila hapo. Magari yanapiga kelele forward. Na hizi zingine zote. Wengine mnaishi Kasarani pale Canopy. Makelele, mahooting na all those things. Wengine wanaishi town katikati. Ambapo kuna magari, mabasi ya kwenda Mombasa. Kila saa unasikia makelele ya makanga na all those things. So the environment also is another thing. So then how do you improve your reading skills? How do you improve your reading skills? So improving your reading skills will reduce the unnecessary reading time, and it will enable you to do what? To be more focused and selective in a way. So you will also be able to increase your levels of understanding and concentrations. So to improve your reading skills, you need to do what? You need to have a clear reading goal. That when you go to the library, you know exactly what you are going to read. Number 2, you need to choose the right text. Sometimes when you go to the library, you are given the wrong book. So you spend a lot of time reading the wrong book. You are reading a communication psychology. Umeenda kwa library, badala upatiwe communication skills book. Umepewa kitabu ya communication psychology. una spend a lot of time the whole day reading the wrong book, na kile ambacho unatafuta pale hakuna, alafu unakuja kufanya mtihani. My friend, utaanguka mpaka vumbi itoke. Sometimes we even read books that are very old. Kitabu ilipublishiwa na So we are saying how to improve your reading skills. You are told, choose the right text. Now, first of all, you have to have a clear reading goal. You need to have a clear reading goal. And you're told, choose the right text. That when you go to the library, you need to access the text to see if it contains the information that is relevant to you. So choose the right text and check the date of publication. Sometimes some people, when they go to the library, you are reading a book that was published in 1958. Hata kama ni wewe 1958, mambo yamebadilika. Tunaishi wakati wa internet, ambapo tuko na social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all these things. But you are reading a book that was published in 1958. So hata kufikiria kwako kunabadilika, kunakuwa ni kufikiria kwa watu wa zamani ama watu wa 1958. So next you're being told, use the right reading style. And then take notes. Take notes. A good student usually take notes. Even at home, you take notes. Underline and highlight to pick out what seems the most central or the most important point. As you read, underline the most important point. Question what the material that you are reading. Question yourself, have I understood? Ask yourself that question, have I understood? Summarize everything to find out whether you have understood or not. And that is it. So in summary, we are saying that these are the ways in which you can improve your reading. Number one, you need to have a clear focus for your reading material. Have a clear focus for your reading material or for your reading. Survey the text before you spend time reading whatever you are reading. Also told skim and scan to get the right reading materials. Also scan and skim after detailed reading to enforce your understanding, and also use a form of note taking while reading in detail to keep yourself. You're told that you use a form or you use a book to take notes while reading, because notes helps you to even understand more. Also, you're told to use a clear reading goal, that when you go to the library, know exactly what you're going to do. And also to improve your reading speed, don't increase the speed of the eye. That does not mean that you're increasing the speed of the eye across the page, but increase the number of words the eyes can recognize in a single fixation. Kuna watu akiingia library kusoma, maybe anasoma definition, ameanza kusoma introduction to communication. Huyo mtu atashinda tu kwa definition, na hata hiyo definition haingii. Unatoka mwanzo kidole, you are finger reading, and then you find yourself you're not even understanding anything. I'll stop from there unless there is a question. I'll stop from there unless there is a question. If there's no question, then allow me to go to the activities of the day. Sababu hakuna swali. Allow me to go to the activities of the day. I have told you that, no, allow me just to go to the activities of the day today. Today we are focusing on reading skills. So today's notes have been unleashed. You can download your notes. Then there is a discussion forum there. You are told, discuss the points to bear in mind when preparing a PowerPoint presentation about the role of technology in communication. Then you submit that in the discussion forum provided. And then there is quiz 6 for you. Quiz 6 is there waiting for you. Then apart from that, there is assignment 2. There is assignment 2. That assignment opens today. And it will open today from what time? To open today from, I think 6. Let me check.
Okay.
It will open today from 6, yes, from 6, and it will close next week on November, next week is November 2nd. Next week, November 2nd, from, it will close at 6 p.m. So your assignment 2, tumesema ya kwamba inafunguliwa leo saa 12, tarehe 26 leo saa 12, na itajifunga ama itafungwa na system next week on Tuesday. Next week on Tuesday. That's when it will close. So unless there is a question, I will stop at that point. So I can see that there are people who have not yet joined the WhatsApp group. Kindly Bina share them the link so that they can join the WhatsApp group. I can see we are 131. Remember tulisema ya kwamba tukifanya assignment na cards tunasahau na hiyo maneno. So far we have done assignment 1 and we have done assignment cat 1. Now we are in assignment 2. Hizo already ni marks ngapi? Those are 20 marks. Tumebakisha tu only 15 marks. Is it? Those are 15 plus 5, 25 marks. Those are 25 marks. Already zimeenda hivyo. Kwa wale ambao hawajafanya, already 25 marks are gone. And you are remaining with only how many marks? 15. Kwa wale ambao hawajafanya all those activities. I'm also including today's assignment. No, the assignment for next week that is expiring next week. So tukiinclude hiyo, useme hata hii sitafanya, utakuwa umepoteza 25 marks already. Na utarudia tu hii unit, tutanipata tu hapa na tutaform group ingine. Before you notice, wewe ndio utakuwa lecturer wa hii darasa, kwa vile ambavyo utakuwa umezeeka. Wewe ndio utakuwa lecturer. Wewe ndio utakuwa mkuu wa hii darasa kama mnavyosema. So Bina, I hope you have shared the link for the WhatsApp link. Ama bazuu, utakuwa bazuu wa hii darasa. Nasikia mjamaa anatuambia hivyo. So, share, there is a link that has been shared. Kindly use that link to join the WhatsApp group. Those who are joining. And there are rules there. Kuna watu wanaita jera, wewe iite vile utaiita. Ukisikia utaiita rumande ni sawa pia. So long as it achieves its goal. Yes, Regina, you have raised your hands. What is it?
I have not seen a link.
The link is there, Regina, surely. Mimi mwenyewe ninaiona. Kama nataka tu ni share ndio uone.
Yeah.
You want me to share so that you can see?
Yeah.
You Regina na yeye. Acha tukutafutie hiyo link. Look for it. Haya, ndio hiyo nimeshare, Regina. Hope you can see it. No. Is it me who has shared? No. Let me share to all. I have shared it. I don't know why it is not going. Haya, umeona Regina?
Yeah, thank you.
Ama ni cha mkufuu mwanafuha, cha mwanafu mkufuhu. Akirahu.
Ya?
So that is it. Najua mnangojea hiyo nini password ya register. Let's look for it. Let me look for it. Hiyo ndio tu unangojea, alafu uanze kujitoa hapa polepole. Nitafute hiyo password. Na mpaka wale kuna watu hawajui kuchukua register. Shule inaisha, unafaa kurudia communication skills.
Good.
So the password has been shared. I've shared there, and I've also shared on WhatsApp. The password is shared even on WhatsApp. I've shared it on WhatsApp. So unless there is a question, I'll stop at that point. I've already shared the password. You can go and tick your register. I've given you all the activities that you need to do. Always take those assignments seriously. And that is it. I have no business again to do with you. So tuonane next week. Kama kuna swali tafadhali niulizwe. Usije ukanipigia simu saa 9 ya usiku. Niuliza swali. Password ya register.
Sir. I have a question.
Yes, Wajiko. Wajiko, who has a question? You know, you are all. Most of you, your microphones are on, so I don't know who is speaking. Tuwaweke off. Wanjiko, you have a question. Which one?
Najaribu kujoin aniambia I can't join because the link ime reset.
Bina. That is Regina.
Yeah.
So then let me get it hot for you. I'm getting it hot for you. Now that is the password. That is the link. Meiona. Sawa basi, hiyo ndio link. Hebu jaribu kuingia uniambie. Have you joined the group?
Yeah.
Na wanda tulisema cha mkufu mwanafu ha. Mama ni cha mwanafu mkufu mwanafu ha. In short, cha mwanafunzi mkufunzi hali. but cha kufuu mwanafunzi hula na hafi. So that is it. Let's meet next week. Let's meet next week.